Archie Giant Series 479. It starts with one of Santa's elves flying away in space, and he thinks that he had no way of knowing that was Santa's coffee cup that he was mixing paint in. He gets strange vibrations because someone down there has power, so he homes in on Sabrina, and she somehow doesn't immediately get that he's one of Santa's helpers. When she tells him she's a witch, he says she's kidding him, when he's a supernatural being himself. Somehow his ancestors come from a different planet entirely from the witch world, despite them both looking human. Sabrina uses magic to demonstrate to him. He gets mad at her, and uses magic on her to give her a long nose. Well, this story's annoying. Why would anyone antagonize a witch? Sabrina covers him in soot, and he does the worst possible thing he could, and turns the comic upside down. I don't care enough to read it right away. Rather than depowering him or turning him into a powerless statue, she takes the stupid risk of challenging him to a magic contest. And she's stupid enough to think of a prize for the winner. A dozen DVDs of her choice if she wins, and she agrees to work for him if he wins. She's just being overconfident because she doesn't know him. She doesn't even know how long he's been using magic. He clearly looks older than her. And he has no likability at all. And she doesn't because she's stupid here. At least there being only these characters with no likable character does speed up the pacing of a story I want to end. Both of these people could have left instead of bothering each other. Sabrina decides that the winner of the contest is the one who can zap up the most balloons in 3 minutes. That's a pretty creative idea. Witches can exhaust all of their magic in this comic, though. She predictably loses because she's the idiot protagonist. At least she's still cheerful after that, so it's not too depressing. She's dressed like Santa, which is at least funny. And the story ends with Ambrose seeing a ton of balloons and saying that Sabrina must have had quite a party. In the next story, Sabrina's happy to tell Hilda she got a dog from Harvey that she finds adorable. But Hilda wastes a whole lot of our time saying she doesn't want a dog and accuses it of potentially having fleas, thinking that witches can't have dogs for some reason. Right away, this plot just reminds me of the time Harvey gave Sabrina a dog and it howled too much, and the other time she got a dog. So it doesn't seem original enough so far. Sabrina reminds her what happens to dogs that aren't claimed at the pound, and when Hilda acts like she doesn't care, Sabrina awesomely decides to use magic to stand up to her. She teleports her outside and causes a dog person from the city pound to chase her with a net. I guess this is all happening in Hilda's head, and Hilda can't question why she's not able to use magic, which could easily keep her from being put in the pound. Hilda wakes up sitting in a chair, and changes her mind and holds the dog, and miraculously says that the dog's cute, even though you'd think she'd be disgusted at it licking her face. I doubt she'll have a dog in any of the later stories, so that was pointless. I guess this is an alternate universe where she gets to keep the dog, and she doesn't have Salem, who isn't even mentioned here. In the next story, Hilda tells a door-to-door salesman she doesn't want any automatic cookie cutters. He's persistent, so it takes an entire page for her to close the door. Then he goes into her house and says her back door was unlocked. I hope this doesn't actually happen, it's just a cartoonish misrepresentation. It counted as trespassing and breaking in, so she could threaten to call the police on him. She uses magic to summon a monster to scare him, but all he does is try to sell stuff to him. He keeps doing so after he gets grabbed and picked up. It's sort of satisfying to see, but it's also boring because it's so overused. He gets thrown over the fence, and predictably, he immediately comes back through the window. After a bunch of time is wasted, she casts a spell to summon a vampire. He tries to sell him something, and then runs away and leaves the house. Predictably, when he sees Sabrina, she buys stuff from him, which is just like the story where she bought a peach fuzz remover. But in this story, Hilda doesn't use magic in the story to punish him for scamming her niece. Instead, he ends the story smiling at us and talking to himself. Predictably, when Della's excited that it's Christmas, it's only because she wants Sabrina's family to make a mess of the holiday. She wants to mix up people's gifts, change the cards around, all with no explanation for why she wants that. Somehow she doesn't understand at first when Sabrina tells her that's not the spirit of Christmas, and she thinks the spirit of Christmas is one of them. She thinks Sabrina is trying to take all the fun out of the season for her after Sabrina has the guts to tell her that she was hoping she could lay off the witchcraft. Ambrose winks while saying that they must be themselves and give Della her gifts. Predictably, the gift sucks and blows up in her face. She says that would have been fine for Harvey. She gets mad at another gift, and Ambrose tells her that that's the kind of Christmas Della wanted. Then she gets given what they really had for her, a new cape and her favorite perfume. I guess they got her those gifts just to suck up to her. She's happy and says that nobody gave her a Christmas gift before. But how's that possible? If they gave her gifts to suck up to her because she's the head witch, surely a bunch of other witch families would have. This must be a parallel universe where she's very new at being the head witch. So she says that a change of pace once a year isn't such a bad idea after all. I'm convinced that her being a woman is the only reason she keeps getting written to have stunning soft-side moments, just so that she can stop being mad at the main characters and wanting to punish them. That and the fact that it gets them out of trouble. Because most of the time she's pure evil for no reason. The first story was annoying. Why didn't Elf and Sabrina have to fight? But it was creative that they decided to prove which one was better at magic by zapping up balloons. The second story seemed really pointless because it's just another story where Hilda gets a dog. So thankfully, it's not really focused on that, and instead it's about Hilda being given a hallucination by Sabrina to show her how it would feel to be a dog that's chased by a dog catcher and put in a pound. Then there's yet another story about Hilda dealing with the door-to-door salesman. It feels like a ripoff of the story in the 70s comic where a door-to-door salesman sold Sabrina a peach defuzzer. Only this time, he's selling Christmas stuff. So it was satisfying, but also boring. I've already seen a lot of stories where Hilda deals with door-to-door salesmen, and this seems exactly like a plot I've already seen, with the only differences being that he's selling Christmas stuff. And the monster she summoned looks different. I liked the next story though. While Della was annoying at first, I liked that she hated the gifts she got. And the characters didn't get in trouble for it, because she ended up enjoying what Christmas really was.